today we are going to be talking about Nutrition 101. I'm going to be talking about MyPlate. We all have seen MyPlate. It's been around since June 2011. However, I'm going to point out some important things that make MyPlate successful that perhaps have not been talked about as much as they should have. Um, Next slide, please. Before I get into that, though, there we go. I just want to share this disclaimer. Healthier Texas is a non-discriminatory organization. The material was funded by USDA Fundamental SNAP Assistance Program. Next slide, please. And as Ricardo mentioned earlier, this is part of Community Challenge. We are going to have webinars every Monday, same time, same place. Our coaches will be here doing some of the presentations. I'll be here doing some other presentations. So each week you'll have one of us, myself or Elena or Isabel. Awesome. All right, let's go on to the next slide so we can talk. All right. So, as we've mentioned already, this is part of the community challenge. Ricardo mentioned you have to be here at least 80% of the time to get points towards community challenge. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you haven't signed up for community challenge, please look at that little QR code at the bottom of the screen. You can register still today. Today's the first day. You can start logging points for your water intake, your trot or morning walk, or the salad that you're going to have today for lunch. All of those health goals, all of those healthy steps, you can log in, earn points, and just compete and have fun during this 3-month period. It starts now, it ends March 9th. Next slide, please. Whew, all right, so now let's get into some nutrition. The objectives of today are to identify the 5 food groups represented in MyPlate. We're going to apply strategies to set and maintain achievable goals related to your health journey and describe health barriers and propose solutions in a group discussion format via chat. Next slide, please. Okay, little disclaimer here. The American Dietary Guidelines have been here for a while now, and the current recommendation for our nutrition in the United States is to follow the MyPlate guidelines. These guidelines are updated every 5 years. However, MyPlate has been around since June 2011, so it might not be as new. However, today I'm going to talk about some things that we need to pay attention to and to make sure that MyPlate actually works for us. And next slide, please. Okay, so the dietary guidelines have been created to be able to delay or avoid completely health issues such as obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, some cancers, etc. They are well researched and they are presented to us in a visual form. Next slide, please. And it's this one. We've seen it at every doctor's office. Every nutritionist's office has the MyPlate. It's the colorful plate divided into 4. What I wish Michelle Obama in 2011 would have thought of, or maybe her team, is to have a little person running around this little circle or little plate, because MyPlate does not have the same effect that it promises if we are not taking into account the very important factor, which is 150 minutes of physical activity per week. So MyPlate is designed for a healthy adult to maintain their weight, and it only works as long as you're doing 150 minutes of exercise per week. Now, is everybody doing 150 minutes of exercise per week? No, we're still working on that. So when we talk about this guideline today, I want us to think about this MyPlate as the baseline, and then to think about our personal lives and how we can adapt to our own needs. But we'll start from MyPlate, and then build from there and adapt, adjust according to where we're at with our physical activity, where we're at with our weight, and with our health. Because we all have unique lives, we all have unique circumstances, and one recommendation doesn't fit for all. But one recommendation could serve as a good baseline for everybody, right? Okay, next slide, please. So, the first food group, fruit, in MyPlate, we can see it is about a quarter of your plate. In handfuls, that would be one handful of fruit. Fruit is nature's sugar. It's nature's gasoline, or it's the first thing that you're going to burn when you're exercising. And unfortunately, sugar in the United States is one of the things that we have way too much of. However, if you're having it in fruit form, you're getting all that good fiber, so it's going to respond different in your body. Now let's think. This is a recommendation for somebody who is exercising 150 minutes per week. If you are not exercising 150 minutes per week and you're actually somewhere else in your life where you're trying to build up to that, you're trying to also lose weight, maybe that amount of fruit is not good for you. Maybe you'll build up to those 150 minutes and then you'll need that fruit because that is what's going to ignite you to start that exercise. But for now, if you're still working on getting up to 150 minutes of exercise and you're still working on that weight loss, perhaps extending the vegetable portion up into the fruit portion is more beneficial to your particular case. So, if you're not exercising 150 minutes, I'd say swap the fruit for non-starchy vegetables, which we'll talk about now. Next slide, please. Okay. Vegetables. In the MyPlate section, there's no discrimination about what type of vegetables we're talking about. It could be starchy vegetables, it could be non-starchy vegetables. If you're doing 150 minutes per week, it doesn't matter. Any vegetables, as long as you're keeping a variety, as long as you're eating the rainbow is fine. Now, um, if you don't have 150 minutes of exercise scheduled in your week and you're not there yet, I'd say focus on vegetables that are non-starchy, which is most vegetables, except ones that you probably have to cook 20 minutes or more to make them edible. Like a potato, for example. A potato, you have to boil that for more than 20 minutes. That is a starchy vegetable. So what I'm saying here is if in your particular circumstance you're not doing 150 minutes of exercise and you're actually trying to lose weight, focus on vegetables that are non-starchy and that don't take 20 minutes or more to cook. Zucchinis, you can saute those in 5, 6 minutes. Those are good. Pumpkin, on the other hand, that's going to take a while. Sweet potato is going to take a while. Butternut squash is going to take a while. Those are the starchy ones, okay? Now, all of the vegetables usually follow that rule for starchiness except for corn. Corn's one of those that you don't have to cook 20 minutes, but it's still considered a starch because it's so sweet. It's a grain, actually. So message here is if you are working out 150 minutes a week, MyPlate is going to work for you in helping you maintain your weight. That is the amount of vegetables you eat. It is about a hand and a half of vegetables. Doesn't matter which one, eat the rainbow, eat as much variety as you can. If you're not those people that are working out 150 minutes a week, you have a different circumstance, you probably would benefit from having non-starchy vegetables only. Eat the rainbow of the non-starchy vegetables. Next slide, please. Grains. All right. Um, Grains are awesome. Corn is a grain. Um, what we recommend for MyPlate is to have wholesome grains as much as possible. Yes, you can eat bread, preferably wheat bread or whole wheat bread. Pastas are also considered a grain. They're made from a grain. Whole wheat was going to have more fiber, so that's healthier. But eventually, what you're going to try to gravitate towards more are whole grains. So your rice, your oats, steel cut oats or rolled oats, those that you have to cook for a while. Any type of grain that you have to cook for like 20 minutes or more, those are going to have a lot of fiber. Those are good. Your Minute Maid oats, they have been stripped from fiber for a whole lot. So um, think of those as something separate. So grains, if you are working out 150 minutes a week, this is going to be your fuel after you burn through those fruits. Grains are going to be the second thing that your body is going to burn through to be able to keep up with your momentum on exercising. Now, if you're not working out 150 minutes, that portion of grains is probably just going to be a quarter. You're going to want a little bit less, you know? Um, but you can also include in that little portion your fruits, your starchy vegetables. So those potatoes and all those vegetables that take 20 minutes or more to cook, those all can fit in that grain portion in that quadrant there. Okay. So if you're not working 150 minutes a week, if you're not working out 150 minutes a week, shrink that grain portion and add variety. Add your fruits, add your starchy vegetables. Okay. And that is going to be the amount of calories that you probably want to focus on until you are working out enough to burn through the amount of grains and fruits. Next slide, please. Protein. This is the only one that doesn't change no matter where you're at. Protein. Um, if you are a plant protein eater, it will change for you. And we can talk about that one-on-one. There's some specific needs, some specific combinations you need to make if you are a plant protein eater. If you are a meat protein eater, an animal-based protein eater, that is the amount, the correct amount that you want, regardless of how much you're working out. Okay. Um, that quarter should fit in the palm of your hand. If you're eating like a steak, if you're eating a chicken breast, it should be as thick as the palm of your hand without counting the fingers. So that amount right there. If it's a fillet of fish, probably one fillet, because fillets are sometimes thinner than your hand, unless it's a big, nice, thick salmon. Make sure it's about the size of your hand and not counting your fingers. So that is the amount. Regardless of how much you're working out, you're going to need that protein. As you age and going into seniorhood, it might change a little bit as far as the source of your protein. But if you're in that boat, give us a call. Us health coaches can help you navigate those differences. All right, next slide, please. Dairy. Awesome. This recommendation is for everybody who's not lactose intolerant, right? Um, Dairy is one of our main sources of calcium intake. However, if you are sensitive to the tummy like me, there are other alternatives that have calcium. So there's fortified oat milk, soy milk, almond fortified. You want to make sure it's fortified because that means that calcium has been added. Um, Dairy in the MyPlate is what is recommended for your main source of calcium. If you're working out, again, 150 minutes per week, the amount of calories that you're getting from your low, like 2% or lower cow's milk, that the amount of calories from that is going to help you work out. You're going to burn through those. If you're not working out that amount, if you're trying to lose weight and you're not up to 150 minutes, skip the dairy, drink water. And for your calcium, a good source of calcium is dark leafy greens. So think of that in if you have that particular case where you are trying to lose weight, you're not at 150 minutes a week. The amount of calories in dairy might be too much, especially if your diabetes is a little advanced. Dairy might not be right for you. Okay. So again, as we look at MyPlate, we should always think this is the baseline, and then I adapt to wherever I am at. And I'll change to and adjust to wherever I'm at. Wonderful. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now we get to chat a little bit. So everybody, I want you to bring your fingers into the chat. I know that people are saying hi from different places in Texas. I love that we have so many people from everywhere. Welcome, welcome. If you don't mind, answer this question for me in the chat. Um, which do you think of all of these food groups, of the 5 food groups that we just talked about, which one is the hardest one to follow or to just get in on a daily basis with your meals? Share in the chat. Fruit, vegetables. Oh my gosh. Fruit and vegetables. Yes. Oh, somebody said grains, dairy. Okay. It looks like the majority, though, is fruits and vegetables. Yes. Oh, somebody said meat for me, protein, since I don't eat meat. Yes. Rita, we can put our heads together to think about if your plant source protein is something that's working for you and like if you're making the right combinations to have all complete enzymes in there. Um, because plant-based protein is just as good. It's probably even better for us than meat. Oh, that's another can of worms to talk about, though. For now, I love seeing all of this. So fruits and vegetables seem to be the hardest one to get in. Is it because of preparation, the time to prepare these? Is it just because it's a lot of fiber, or is it because our stores sell things that have been, I don't know, shipped from Chile and come over here and they just don't taste as good? They just taste bland. What is it? Give me some reasons as to why fruits and vegetables are hard. Oh, some people say taste. It's bland. The cost, yes, it's expensive. Um, Shelf life. Yes, shelf life. Yeah. They're like the hardest ones. Absolutely. The quality has gone down. Yes. With the industrialization of our farms and our soils, it is hard to get some good tasty foods. Best tasting foods is ones that you can grow, in my opinion. Um, a craving for other foods. Yeah. The time to make it, time to prepare it. Absolutely. Thanks for all of those answers. Let's go to the next question. Okay. Let's think about, and this is for y'all to answer, what are some strategies that help you stick to the recommended portion sizes? I can share some for my clients if we don't have enough answers here, but let's put you all on the spot to tell me what are strategies that work for you so that you can stick to the recommended portion size. Meal prep, okay. Using a smaller plate, I love that one. That's one of my clients' ones too. Portion size containers. Yes, already having everything portioned out in the freezer. You don't have to worry about it. Love that. Logging your food. Okay, that's a great one. Yes, like writing it down or logging it in an app. Using containers, food scale. That is high. Um, nice. High focus on that. Perfect. Cutting it in half. Putting it, okay, so if you're eating out, cutting everything in half, putting it in a to-go container before you even eat. That is another one that one of my clients uses. That's a perfect one. Meal prep, always putting it in a container. I love that. Learning to season them when I want to eat. Okay. Thank you for all of that. Measuring cups. Okay, that's great. Does anybody um does anybody drink a whole lot of water before eating their meal just to make sure that they're not eating the next like a second serving? Does anybody do that? Yes. No. Sometimes. Okay. So, all right. Does anybody know? Sometimes our signal for thirst feels like our signal for hunger, and it's hard to discern if we're thirsty or hungry. And so sometimes we think we're hungry when we're actually thirsty. I thought that was pretty cool, and I learned that. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of yeses. Yeah. Awesome. Great. All right, let's go to the next question. And Ricardo, do we have 30 minutes or is it an hour for our challenge chats?
It's scheduled for 30
30
minutes.
minutes. All right, so I'm going to fly through these. Woohoo! All right, next one. So, what would be your food goal for the next couple of weeks? So, we shared some of our barriers right now. Then we've shared some ideas for keeping portion sizes. Now, let's think in the future, what would be a food goal for the next couple of weeks? Like, if you could improve anything on your diet, on your nutrition, what would that one thing be for the next couple of weeks? Something doable, something a SMART goal. So something simple, specific, something that is going to be easy to do. You don't want to put a ton of things on your plate when we're just starting on Monday. So one thing that you feel like you can commit for next week. Um, let's see here. Okay, so Trisha says reduce portion sizes, more protein with veggies, meal prep, more protein. Nice. I'll add more veggies that aren't my beloved potatoes. I know, I grew up with so many potatoes. I love potatoes, baked potatoes. Eat more veggies. Okay. So if we're thinking of that, like more protein, more veggies, let's make that kind of more specific. Is it going to be like a handful per meal? Is it going to be a salad per meal? Let's get very specific on that so we know when those veggies are coming in. Are they coming in like baby carrots on a snack time? Are they coming in like sliced cucumbers with hummus while you're at work? Like, let's be specific about how these extra things are going to come in. Oh, exercise. Thank you, Angela. You're mentioning exercise 30 minutes each day. Yes, that's the invisible part of my plate. That's the part that Michelle Obama forgot to put in there. Is the running person. Thank you. There's a goal around physical activity. Eating more protein in my diet. Mm, Let's see. Eat at least one veggie or fruit during each meal. I like that. That's very specific, Melissa. Perfect. Limit sweet intake. All right. Vegetables forward for most meals. Stop getting things into the grocery cart that you don't need. I like that. Cut portion sizes. Be mindful of portion sizes. More cardio. Marva, thank you. Paying attention to the invisible running man on the MyPlate. Fancy juicier. A juicer already instead of paying an arm and leg for the pre-made fruit, fresh juices. Ah, got it. So you want to make your own juices. That's fun. I like good recipes for that too. Stop skillet breakfast. Eating breakfast. That's important. No processed foods. No sugar. I like these. My goal, um, as far as foods go, I've been kind of slacking in getting vegetables in my breakfast. So I want to add either chard or spinach into my eggs. I'm such an egg eater for morning breakfast, so I'm going to do that. That would be my goal. Awesome. Well, order curbside. That is a good one, Sandra, because then you don't get tempted with everything that is like all the candies that are looking at you as you're going through the aisles and all the popcorns and all the corn chips and everything. You don't see that when you're ordering online. That's smart. Thank you so much for sharing. Um, what do we have next? Is it the question section? Questions, yes. Put them all in here. I'm sorry I went over time a little bit. Any questions for me in this last minute or so? Maybe we can extend it to 5 minutes. Any questions on my plate? Convince my husband to stop buying ice cream. Maria, have your husband call me. We're going to talk about this. Oh, the plate is per meal. Yes, yes, Sarah. So the plate is per meal. When we think of breakfast, we probably have to be very creative because breakfast in the United States is very different than my plate. Like if we were in Japan, breakfast might look more like my plate. Sometimes you can think about vegetables coming in a fruit and vegetable smoothie for breakfast while you have your piece of toast, which would be your grains, and your egg, which would be your protein. Um, Anything else? Can I eat fruit in between as a snack? That would be perfect, Sandra. If you eat fruit in between snacks, that's a great. I would say, depending on your case, though, if you're exercising or not, you might need a limit on your fruits or not. Okay. Um, or if you're trying to lose weight, you might want to keep an eye on like how many fruits you're having per day. So it depends on your exercise and if you're like doing those 150 minutes or not. Okay. What is recommended hours to stop eating before bed? Oh, that's a good one, Judith. 2 to 4 hours, I'd say. It's always ideal if you can go on a walk after dinner to burn some of those calories before you go to bed. Okay, I'm sorry we are over time. Let's go to the next slide so I can share if you all need a health coach, if you need to brainstorm with us, we are the best way to contact us is through that number. It's 844-262-6224. We are at healthiertexas.org. This is a free service for anybody in the state of Texas. You can get free health coaching. We can go into the nitty-gritty details of your life to see what would be best for you, nutrition wise, exercise wise, stress related stuff wise. That's fine. Also, if you are interested in need of classes, like Zumba, yoga, Pilates, HIIT, Fix. Oh, I forgot the name of the other one. There's a lot of different online classes that we offer, and now we're also offering them in person in some locations. Check out strongertexas.org. Look at the calendar. On the calendar, you'll be able to see what classes are in person and what classes are online. Most of them are online, but if you're in the San Antonio area, if you're in the Austin area, if you're in the Rio Grande Valley area, you can get some in-person ones too. So make sure to look both of these programs up, Telehealth Coaching, Stronger Texas. We are here to support you and happy first day of Community Challenge. All right, y'all. That is our information there. Contact us if you need our emails are there for you. And I hope that you enjoyed this. Have a great rest of your day. Stay warm, stay active, stay hydrated, stay healthy. Take care, everybody.